I love my next guest because he is a man on a mission. He is all about raising awareness and consciousness on the planet, and he does that through his software that he invented, and particularly helping entrepreneurs that have a mission, that have a message, and that want to go out in the world and not only make an impact, but also monetize their gifts, their services, their products, anything that you're selling online. So I recommend that you stay tuned and watch this episode.
Frankie Lee, dimmi, qual è senso della vita?
The meaning of life is to live la dolce vita, which is the formula for fabulous living.
Hi, my name is Heather Picken, and welcome to the La Dolce Vita Show, the formula for fabulous living. I'm the catalyst in helping you to be more confident, create your dream business, and attract elite clients and live a fabulous life. Here's Heather helping you to upgrade your life to
Fabulous. Upgrade your life to fabulous. Right, Frankie? You're fabulous.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the La Dolce Vita Show. It is the formula for fabulous living. I believe everyone has a wealth potential just waiting to be unleashed. And the secret is finding the formula that is really the most authentic way of how you want to live your life. And when you do that, the people and the resources show up. I help people all around the world to take their most inspired idea and turn that into a profitable business online. And I love the guests that I have today, Calvin Correli. I think I pronounced your name right, Calvin? And I just want to, take our watchers and our listeners today through the journey of what your formula for fabulous living is. And I'm sure there's been some bumps and challenges along the way. So let's kind of start there.
Yeah. What's my formula?
Yeah. Well, let's start with, because here's the thing. A lot of times,
you like to pick it off easy, don't you?
Yeah. A lot of times, it's like when you're thinking about creating the perfect recipe, I always think creating the perfect recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Like when I was younger, I really, made sure that I had made the best chocolate chip cookies. And I realized, even though, okay, I'm reading it off of a bag of Nestle Toll House chocolate chips, I would add different ingredients to really enhance the flavor. And I kind of liken that to a journey of being an entrepreneur because, sometimes, the cookies might turn out burnt or you might not get the right ingredients. And so I always like to, ask my guests that I have on the show, what are some of the moments? So for your journey and where you're at now, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, what are some of the challenges that you've had to face? And I call it failing upwards.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Well, I mean, actually, so in terms of formula, I actually do have one, and it's very simple, and it's focusing on the big vision of what I want to create, and as a very felt thing, something that I can taste and smell, and I see what it looks like and what it feels like, and then really just trying to go at it as joyfully and pleasant as possible, and kind of forget the vision a little bit because it takes care of itself. So that would be my formula. And so when I fail upwards, and it's also about just focusing on what I want to create, and not focusing so much on competitors or what's going on in the marketplace or things like that. I'm just I'm just doing my thing. And the people who enjoy that, they can come play with me. And the people who are up for something else, that's fine. They can go somewhere else. And so the failings have mostly been when I've been caught in some kind of fear stuff or drama over I don't know, people's reactions. Like once you started to get visible, like people are going to start to tell stories about you and gossip and make up things that are not true and whatever. And then they're like, yeah, that's right. And you know, you can spread. Yeah. Or something else like something might happen in the competitive landscape, and some like I get triggered into being like, oh my God, shit, no, yeah. And what I've noticed every single time is that when I do that, I can measure it in my revenue, in my numbers. And then once I manage to snap out of it, I'm like, oh wait, that was not what this company was ever about. We're about, you know, creating our thing. And then I'm like, just chill out and relax and just focus back in that creative flow, which is what I enjoy the most, and things seem to work themselves out. So
I love that. I love how, you know, because I know for myself, it's like fear has been my enemy. And when I work with clients in my business, one of the biggest foundational pieces that I feel is really missed is that mindset, you know, having the big vision. That's number one. You know, one of the things, and this is why I have this world map, you've got to have a bigger vision than yourself, your city, your state, your country. You really have to have this global vision in order to connect to those right people and resources, and you will be ridiculed. You know, it's just the nature of the game when you put yourself out there. And I'm telling people, like, you have to embrace this. You have to embrace this journey of being an entrepreneur. And, you know, when that fear comes up, you know, I don't know, like, I know you said you just kind of relax and you get into your creative zone. I know for me, I like reading. I like what I call an immersion technique. So I'll be watching different videos on YouTube. I basically tell my clients when they're freaking out to start doing a pattern interrupt and immerse themselves in doing that. And what happens is they start rewiring the neural pathways in the brain, and they start opening up to solutions, opening up to creativity. And one of the things I was really impressed with, Calvin, when I came upon your work, and I was using a system, Infusionsoft, which some people might be using right now. And the problem with using it, I wasn't using it to its capacity because I really didn't need all the bells and whistles. It was really kind of clunky and hard to use. And it was a lot of money. And as an entrepreneur, I love saving my clients money and giving them the best solutions. So I was Googling, you know, different types of email databases, kind of like a all-in-one system. And I came across Simplero, which is your company. And I just want to share this with the audience, a couple different things. Number one, I was really impressed with the vision. You talk about the vision of how you want to help entrepreneurs, and I'll let you talk about that in a second. So that was really impressive. I'm like, here's a guy that has this great vision. Here's our company, and it really spoke to me. And number two, you got personally, you know, the CEO of the company got on the phone with me because I just wanted to have a personal conversation. In today's techie world, high touch means everything, and I was so impressed with this turnkey system of everything that you offered. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm sold. So like your vision, your personal touch, and just everything that you offered really spoke volumes to me. And I was able to dump Infusionsoft, easily import my list to Simplero, and, you know, up and running in one day without any complications. And I've got my assistant now, you know, trained on it and working on it. So I just appreciate, I appreciate what you're doing. And so with, you know, if you could share just a little bit of the vision of Simplero, and for those people that want to check it out, there's a link in the show notes so you can do that while we're chatting here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Simplero for me was born out of this desire to really integrate spirituality and this like way of being in the world, of connecting with our purpose and approaching everything from a place of love versus fear, like we talked about, right? And so I was doing some like individual work with people, and I realized, hey, I need some software. So I wrote my software for myself, for my own business, and I realized I can create a transformation, you know, through the tool that I build, and I can support other people in being part of this transformation. And so the vision for the product is really to make it like the best, easiest place for someone like yourself to come in and just run their business. You don't have to worry about all that stuff, and you can focus on doing the things that you love doing. And then like we, through the product, just really support you in your like highest evolution. We have like self-realization through entrepreneurship, right? And the self-realization of your clients. And we're just that like small underlying enabling energy that just makes that whole thing flow more smoothly. That's how I like to think about it anyway. I'm curious what you heard that really resonate with you.
I love that the spirituality combined with connecting with people. That to me, I'm like, this is absolutely amazing. I want everyone to check out Simplero because I just think it's absolutely fabulous. And I remember when I was talking to you, I said, well, how do you pronounce this? I was pronouncing it Simplero, and you're like, it's like dinero, Simplero. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so can you do your best impression of Robert De Niro?
Yes, Simplero. I don't know. Simplero rhymes with dinero. No, I don't. I'm failing at it. Ain't I? I think of also dinero as the Spanish word for money. So.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So some people have told us that once they get on Simplero, they feel really excited about their business again. It's funny because it's one of those small phrases that we've just heard over and over again. Thank God I'm finally excited about my business again. So I don't know if it's appropriate for this audience, but one of the things that we like to say internally is Simplero, the simpler way to business orgasm.
Oh yeah, totally appropriate.
The big O of Simplero.
I love it. I think that's so great. Yeah, and it's funny because I felt that feeling when one of the biggest fears that I had was, will my list convert? Because I learned a very big lesson years ago when I started building my email database. I had a list of 10,000 people, and I literally lost that because I did kind of a lateral move and that required all these double opt-ins, and I lost the list. I had to rebuild from scratch. And so I remember saying, are you 100% positive this is going to import my list? And you're like, yes. And so for those people that are listening or watching, if you've got things like Aweber, Constant Contact, Infusionsoft, any platform, you can import your list and you won't lose it. And I absolutely love it. But I'll never forget when I first, pressed the send button to hit my first broadcast, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And the problem with Infusionsoft, it wasn't delivering to my entire database. And so I was losing out like on 5,000 people because they were having some issues, and I didn't realize that until later. So It's been such a great experience so far.
We hear that a lot from people moving specifically from Infusionsoft, that they get much better open rates and much better delivery of their emails. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I just want to talk about some of the features that people that may not be aware of, because here was my thing. I was like, okay, I want a system where I can set up products, I can set up subscriptions, one-time payments if I need that, email broadcasting, and put things in autoresponders, which is really important. So for those people that are doing any kind of things with marketing funnels, that's kind of like the secret to really connecting with those ideal clients and converting them into paying clients. Another thing is you have those modules that you can create for, like, let's say like a membership type of program or a subscription type of program. Have I left anything out?
Affiliate management, landing pages. We had just added worksheets the other day that I think
awesome.
Are another thing.
Oh, I was just thinking, yeah, it's funny because I remember reading inside of the dashboard, hey, if you don't have a website, you can just, use the landing pages. And that's another thing that I want to point out. You don't necessarily need a website. You have a landing page, you get people into the funnel, and with the affiliate links, because some other software programs, I remember I was using one, Shopping Cart, years ago, and that was an additional upgrade. So, I love how you just kind of have everything all in one system. It's Simplero,
Yes.
Dinero.
Exactly.
And another thing I want to add is the amazing customer support. So like if my team is putting a ticket in or I'm putting a ticket in, you guys are really great at getting back to people. And I think that's so important, especially, today, because, things could happen. You even have, and I really checked out the system. You even have, wake Calvin up if something goes down, don't abuse that. I'm like, that is really clever. You've really thought this through.
Yeah. I mean, at one point I was literally the only person on the team. Now we're 3 guys across multiple time zones that can fix things if they break, which they very rarely do. But it was one of those things where it just helps everybody sleep better at night. It helps me sleep better at night too, knowing that if something goes down, I'll be woken up by someone. So
I love that. Yeah. I love that. It just speaks to the dedication of your company and the vision, and then the people, that you're surrounding yourself with.
We take this, so it's very important for us to have fun in everything that we do. And at the same time, we take the stuff that we do very, very seriously. Like a lot of our customers are, feeding their entire families on Simplero. And we tend to attract a lot of female customers in particular, and a lot of women who end up being breadwinners for their family. Like their business takes off and then they tell their husband, you know what? You don't have to take another job. You don't have to work anymore. You can work with me, or you can do something else, play guitar or whatever. And that responsibility on us to make sure that everything works smoothly so that they can feed their kids and pay their bills and stuff is something that we take very seriously. And we've gotten to know a lot of the people that are customers, like you. Right. And I wouldn't, let you down. So we need to be on our game here.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, so I welcome everyone to check out Simplero. If you go to the link in the show notes and you decide that, or like, you know what, I totally want to do that. What I'm doing, and I'll have to limit this to, like 10 to 20 people. If you buy it from my link, I will set up a Simplero implementation session. So not only am I going to show you some of the bells and whistles, but I am going to take you through a specific, marketing strategy that I know will work for you depending on where you're at in your business, because I don't do cookie cutter marketing plans. It's really about where you're at. Do you need to really build your list? What do you need to do as far as having the system? I absolutely love it. I can't say enough about it. And so Calvin, let's all talk about, what the importance, I guess, of having a team in really creating your fabulous life. Because I know for me, I've got my team that does different things in my day-to-day operations. But I think part of being an entrepreneur is having the freedom. And the problem is a lot of people are doing everything themselves and they're not creating a team to leverage their success.
Yeah. That was me for a very long time. I had quite some challenges putting together a team that really worked for me. But when it finally clicked, it finally clicked. And one of the things for me was just, I need the smartest people in the room around me or it doesn't work. So the partner I got on the development side, Nick, he has the highest GPA of anyone in the entire country that he lives in. Like, that's the level of people that I need to be working with. And once that's in place, then it becomes so much fun and so easy. Because everybody's just like really doing their thing and it's just rolling. And there's this lightness about it because, that means we can have fun. And so that's really changed the game for me. And I think it was really something that I had to work on. It's like looking back. Both my parents were entrepreneurs, and my mom created a 50-person software company back in the 80s. Wow. My dad had a 150-person production company, global. But there was something about that whole team situation and employee situation that they never managed to really solve. Like they never really, they had people obviously and they had successes, but they never had that feeling of a team that was really gelling for them. So I'm actually very proud of this being something that I had to figure out for myself and really study. And I spent quite a while, looking inside of myself and like what kind of blocks and unconscious beliefs and working with a healer and also just reading books and more of like the practical, tactical, strategic level of things. And like finally through, I don't know. It felt like through sheer magic, but I believe that there is some combination. Just like the harder, the more I do about it, the luckier I am. But then it just suddenly clicked into place, and it's an amazing feeling. And I'd never do anything again without the team. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. You know, it's so interesting too, when you look at technology today. Well, we share that in common. My father was an entrepreneur, and when I saw him, you know, running his own business, kind of living his fabulous formula, it was interesting at the same time. Like, he worked in fiberglass, he built all these, you know, things for like government jobs, amusement parks, you name it. And I never wanted to, you know, be in the fiberglass business because it was way too itchy. I didn't want to be in a factory. And he had a lot of challenges with employees. And it's like, the world that we live in today, I really want people to get this. You can do anything that you want with just a computer or your phone. And it's really about finding the formula that really makes you alive. Like, and this is what people don't understand, because when you put yourself out there in a unique way in whatever you want to do, people will take notice. You know, they will start looking at you. It's kind of like Ian Rand said, you have to be that person with unborrowed vision and be a leader, be a trailblazer of what you want to do. I mean, Calvin is a perfect example of creating this amazing company and doing it in a way, you know, when I'm looking at what your genius zone, Calvin, is, it's like you really care about entrepreneurs, and you're connecting it into this kind of spirituality where we're all connected, you know, connecting through technology, and you really want to make an impact in the world with Simplero. I absolutely love it. At least that is what I feel that your genius zone is.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And like, you don't have to do, like, some of the companies that we're up against in this space have, like, you know, 10 times or 50 times or 100 times more people, more money, more whatever. And that's just not how we do it. You know, it's, I think, like you're saying, there's no reason to do it anyone else's way. Figure out what the right way for you to do things is, and then do that. There really, possibilities are endless. So
it really is. It really is. And so what are your thoughts on, you know, technology and where you see that going in the future?
Whoa. Big question. I mean, it's obviously everywhere. I don't know. Everybody seems to be super focused on AI these days, and
right.
cars and all that stuff. I think for what we're doing, I'm trying to solve fairly simple problems, but solve them beautifully and elegantly. Like, we're not trying to be rocket scientists in terms of the technology that we do. We just to try to do it a little more intelligently, a little more with heart, if you will. I
love that. Yeah. I love that. You know, and it's funny because you look at, you know, people will pay for, you know, things that you're solving their problems. And that's when I'm helping people to build their business, you got to really drill it down to see what is the, you know, what's not working in the marketplace, what's missing, and being able to create a product, a solution, you know, a system. And I feel that Simplero has absolutely done that 100% with their customer service, with the vision, you know, with the values of the company, and, you know, just, you know, your philosophy, you know, I absolutely love that. So when you're like with your business, what are some of the things that you love to do? Because, you know, with this business, you can live anywhere in the world, you know, travel, doing what you love. I see guitars back there hanging on the wall. So is that something that you love doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my first career choice was I wanted to be a jazz pianist. I was working diligently towards that when I was in my late teens, early 20s. And then things happened, and it didn't feel right for me to pursue that as a career. And the other thing that I always did was computers. So that was what took up basically the next 20 years of my life. At one point I got into the coaching and the spiritual development and all that stuff. So that took some time as well. And then it wasn't I think it was actually Burning Man 2 years ago. Burning Man just happened this year.
Right.
2 years of Burning Man, I've had this experience where I just realized I wanted to start singing, and so I found a vocal teacher, and then gradually it just grew on me, and so now I'm actively working on an album, and writing and producing and singing and all that. So yeah,
I love it.
I also have the drum kit right there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my studio set up here. So yeah,
I love that. I think that it's such a great stress reliever, or just like a great way to give yourself a break, you know.
It's like everything I do is really about helping align people with who they really are, get to know who they really are, because that was what I had no idea for most of my life who I actually was. And then create a life that really works for them. That's an expression of their unique essence. That's everything I do is about that. So the songs that I write are about that. And so the music that I make is about that. The coaching that I do, the software, etc. My big dream for myself is to, there's a lot of elements, but one of the elements would be to be like a special advisor to the President of the United States on conscious nation building, because I'd love, it's just a passion of mine to think about how do we create systems and institutions that would really support the growth of people into being fully who they are and creatively expressing in the world. And I believe that the more people do this, the better everything in the world is going to function. And how do we create it like at a system level, the institutions, the things that just make that a little bit easier or a lot easier, or just the more natural path for people. I don't know if it'll ever happen, and I don't know if it would be a President Trump or a President Hillary. I've always dreamt of creating my own country, just like from scratch somewhere, but there are some logistical issues unless we colonize Mars, of like where to stick that country and how to get the right people to move there. But yeah.
I love it.
Think about it.
I love it. I think that's great. I think, as entrepreneurs, we have to be creative, visionary, and, also think about what is the bigger impact and legacy that I want to leave, in the world. Do I want to leave that immortal legacy that will stand the test of time? And I think that's great. I love what you're doing, Calvin. This has been absolutely fabulous interview. So thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And again, I want everyone to check out Simplero in the show notes. Again, you sign up, I will take you through one of the most amazing sessions to really not only show you what Simplero can do after you sign up for it, but what the best marketing strategy is. I have people doing right now Facebook Live. I just want to share a quick case study. Facebook Live videos. So they are creating their funnels to Facebook Live videos. And one of my clients just ran a small little program and made $10,000. So I'm here to tell you, you could do anything. It's about owning your power, owning your greatness. I want to help you to get there, and so does Calvin. And I just want everyone, because my mission and purpose is to empower, particularly women, millions of women all over the world with their genius zone, what makes them fabulous. So if you could please rate, review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes or YouTube, that would be absolutely fabulous. So here's to finding your formula for fabulous living. Until next time, everyone, this is Heather Picken. Take care. So if you found this show to be fabulous, please share with your fabulous friends, rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. And I'll make sure I take a beatbox lesson, right? Or give my little chihuahua a bone. That's me. Fabulous.